Reproduction. Some coral species reproduce sexually by spawning, some breed asexually, either by budding, germination, or by dividing, either lengthwise or crosswise. Asexual and sexual reproduction. Egg-laying. Many species migrate short or long distances seasonally to reach favored egg-laying sites, where it finds good conditions, such as warmth or oxygen to the developing embryos. Both the young and mature undertake these migrations. Oviparous animals nest in specific areas. To lay eggs, terrestrial or semi-aquatic animals excavate holes in the sand or construct a mound nest out of vegetation. Nesting periods range from a few weeks up to a few months, depending on the species. Some are so fussy that they build or dig several trial nests. These nests will be abandoned and incomplete if she is not happy with them. Crabs tend to be aggressive towards one another. They may also fight over hiding holes, or fight to gain access to females. Mating always takes place in water. Birds nest on tree branches, or on cliffs. The bird nest is constructed of interwoven sticks. Egg-laying can take place anytime, but mostly at night. Females are highly protective of their nests and young. The temperature determines the hatchling's sex. The different levels of temperature, high, intermediate, or low, and in some cases, in both hot and cold extremes, depending on the species, produce males or females. It's all temperature related. Ostrich eggs are the largest eggs of any living land animal, and can weigh over 2.5 kilograms. Pythons are cold-blooded. They can't rely on their body temperature to keep the eggs at a constant temperature. To generate heat, they have to sunbathe to increase body temperature. This is a way to ensure healthy embryo development. Each species can lay one or multiple clutches throughout a season. The average incubation period also depends on each species. Normally, eggs take 70 to 120 days to hatch. Some species will incubate and guard their nests until the eggs hatch. Some, after depositing eggs, cover them by sand or gravel and leave them to incubate by themselves. With crocodiles, when they are ready to hatch, the young use the tip of their snout, or beak, to pierce and break out of the shell. If the mother doesn't hear her young's call, hatchlings will dig and squirm their way out of the nest. For any unhatched eggs, the female takes them in her mouth, slowly rolling the eggs to help the hatching process. Giving birth. Different periods of gestation depend on which species. Each litter consists of 2 or 3 cubs, in rare cases, 6. Cubs have different weights at birth. Some are born with closed eyes, and some are born with opened eyes. Elephants are known as having the longest pregnancy. It takes 645 days to give birth. Females lactate and suckle their young for months. The mothers nurse calves for only a few minutes each time, but at frequent intervals day and night. The cubs are nursed until their teeth erupt and begin to accept solid foods from their mother. Once their milk teeth break through, it is the time for weaning. To avoid attracting the attention of predators, the females usually shift one at a time, their cubs to a new den, by grabbing the cub at the nape of the neck with its teeth. To reinforce the bond between the mother and its young, the mother will groom her offspring whilst it's suckling, or soon after. Generally, mothers are in charge of rearing the cubs, and males take no part in the raising of offspring. In some species, fathers participate in the raising of offspring, but this is extremely rare. A dominant cub, or chick, emerges in most litters. It can be male or female, depending on the species. The dominant cub is more active than its siblings, and takes the lead in their play or lessons. Prior to separation from the mother, the cubs will be taught how to hunt. The mother will pass on all of the most effective hunting techniques, to enable the cubs to hunt, and kill prey on their own. Once this is done, it is time to leave. Different species will reach different sexual maturities. Some can take 5 to 7 years to mature, and are estimated to live up to 20 years. A bowhead whale's longevity can last over a century. Feeding the young. To feed their chicks, the parent bird has to catch and swallow the prey. It then digests this food, but still holds it, until it changes it into a form of milk. When the food is ready, the parent bird regurgitates the food into the chick's beak. A wonderful natural creator, as this beak is used like a spoon, to place the food into the baby bird's mouth. Most species grow rapidly during their early years, but slow down at maturity. The female is responsible for looking after the offspring more than the male. In nature, even with sophisticated parental nurturing, the young have a very high mortality rate. This is due to their vulnerability to predators. Other causes of mortality are starvation, weather, or accidental death. Killing those of the same bloodline. An older and larger chick frequently kills its younger siblings upon hatching. The parents take no action to stop the killing. With tigers, unrelated males often kill the cubs to make the female more receptive, despite the diligence and ferocity of the mother. Metamorphosis. A butterfly's life cycle stages are egg, larvae, caterpillar, chrysalis, butterfly. Butterflies have 4 stages in its insect life cycle. Winged adults lay eggs on the food plant. The eggs hatch into larvae, known as caterpillars. The caterpillar grows, and when fully developed, it enters a complete metamorphosis stage. The caterpillar pupates in a chrysalis. Before this pupa metamorphoses into a butterfly, called the adult phase, its pupal skin splits, and an adult insect climbs out. Its wings gradually expand and dry, it then flies off. Butterflies are often polymorphic, colorful, and conspicuous in their fluttering flight. A silk moth comes from a silkworm. Eggs hatch into larvae, called silkworms. They have to undergo 4 times of molting in their larval phase before entering the pupal phase. The larvae secrete saliva to enclose themselves. The salivary gland forms a vital layer of protection, called a cocoon, which is made up of raw silk. During this period, they are still in the larva stage. After spinning its cocoon, they officially step into the pupa stage, prior to becoming silk moths. They have to experience one more final molt. Similar to the butterfly, the phase from larva to pupa takes place within the cocoon, and it's most vulnerable, due to its almost motionless state. To come out of the cocoon, it produces enzymes to make a hole in the cocoon prior to emerging as an adult moth. A frog's life cycle stages are egg, tadpole, but some bypass this stage, metamorphosis, adult. Spawn, spawned, spawned, spawning, spawn. Breed, bred, bred, breeding, breed. Hide, hid, hidden, hiding. Immigrate, immigrated, immigrated, immigrating, immigration. Emigrate, emigrated, emigrated, emigrating, emigration. Migrate, migrated, migrated, migrating, migration. Migrant. Bud, budded, budded, budding, bud. Fight, fought, fought, fighting, fighter. Depend, depended, depended, depending, dependence. Independence, independent. Favor, favored, favored, favoring, favor. Lie, lay, lane, lying, lie, lied, lied, lying. Lay, laid, laid, laying. Excavate, excavated, excavated, excavating, excavation, excavator. Build, built, built, building, building, builder. Construct, constructed, constructed, constructing, construction, constructor. Dig, dug, dug, digging. Abandon, abandoned, abandoned, abandoning, abandonment. Interweave, interwove, interwoven, interweaving. Relate, related, related, relating, relation. Determine, determined, determined, determining, determination. Sunbathe, 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 sunbathing, sunbath. Generate, generated, generated, generating, generation, generator. Cover, covered, covered, covering, coverage. Rely, relied, relied, relying, reliant. Weigh, weighed, weighed, weighing, weight. Hatch, hatched, hatched, hatching, hatcher. Deposit, deposited, deposited, depositing, deposit, depositor. Incubate, incubated, incubated, incubating, incubation, incubator. Roll, rolled, rolled, rolling, roll. Squirm, squirmed, squirmed, squirming. Feed, fed, fed, feeding, feed. Catch, caught, caught, catching, digest, digested, digested, digesting, digestion, digestive, hold, held, held, holding, holder, nurse, nursed, nursed, nursing, nurse, groom, groomed, groomed, grooming, emerge, emerged, emerged, emerging, emergence, regurgitate, regurgitated, regurgitated, regurgitating, regurgitation, grow, grew, grown, growing, growth, nurture, nurtured, nurtured, nurturing, starve, 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 starving, starvation, vulnerable, vulnerability, be composed of, comprise of, include, encompass, consist of, bear, bore, born, bearing, erupt, erupted, erupted, erupting, eruption, wean, weaned, weaned, weaning, shift, shifted, shifted, shifting, shift, grab, grabbed, grabbed, grabbing, lactate, lactated, lactated, lactating, lactation, suckle, suckled, suckled, suckling, lead, led, led, leading, 2 tons of lead, leader, rear, reared, reared, rearing, rear, raise, raised, raised, raising, raise, teach, taught, taught, teaching, teacher, separate, separated, separated, separating, separation, reach, reached, reached, reaching, reach, estimate, estimated, estimated, estimating, estimation, reinforce, reinforced, reinforced, reinforcing, reinforcement, larva, larvae, larval, enter, entered, entered, entering, entry, fly, flew, flown, flying, fly, flight, pupate, pupated, pupated, pupating, step, stepped, stepped, stepping, metamorphose, metamorphosed, metamorphosed, metamorphosing, metamorphosis, metamorphoses, split, 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 splitting, climb, climbed, climbed, climbing, spin, spun, span, spinning, expand, expanded, expanded, expanding, expansion, flutter, fluttered, fluttered, fluttering, chrysalis, chrysalises, molt, molted, molted, molting, secrete, secreted, secreted, secreting, secretion, form, formed, formed, forming, form, make of, make from,